I'm not convinced. I'm saying it right now. Assassin's Creed Mirage doesn't have me excited. Ubisoft is using buzzwords like reactive environment and responsive NPCs and saying that this game is going back to its roots and getting people excited, saying that the original AC we know and love is back and better than ever. Other than aesthetics, I don't see how Assassin's Creed Mirage is going back to its roots. This is Ubisoft trying to sell you on the nostalgia of the first AC game, and they're using the setting so they can artificially create excitement so you can buy the game. Let's look at one of their main points about reactive and responsive NPCs. I mean, in this clip you can see the citizens do in fact react when you take out an enemy. You can even see one person reacting, a person who's in the same room as an enemy NPC, but the enemy doesn't react or respond. He's still doing his thing and he's still as clueless as ever until the player walks up and takes him out. That to me does not convey a reactive and responsive NPC. Let's take a look at some of the assassination animations. And don't get me wrong, they look pretty cool. I think some of the takedowns look really awesome, but if we're looking at it from an assassin and stealthy perspective, he's definitely taking out these NPCs in a way that's not subtle, that should prompt some type of awareness, or that should alarm nearby enemies, and they simply don't. Now, I get that it's a video game and it's not going to be one-to-one to real life, but in this point, I think Ubisoft really missed the mark by going with something that's more flashy as opposed to something that's more stealthy and something that an actual assassin would do. If we look at AC1, Ubisoft hit the mark with this, because their assassin animations were actually subtle, and the ways the enemies fell when they were defeated conveyed this subtlety as well. I remember playing the first AC game and doing these walk-up assassinations. I felt like I was literally just walking past an enemy and taking them down while I'm still continuing on about my way. I felt like nobody knew what happened, because that's what an assassin is supposed to do, take out people without anybody being aware. What's the point of having a reactive and responsive world environment when the literal point of the game is to be in the shadows to make sure that nobody is aware, that nobody reacts and nobody responds, because nobody is supposed to know what happened? Take a look at the player fighting this enemy, for example. Ubisoft hit the bullseye because they are definitely getting a reaction and a response, and it's from me, and let me tell you, it's not a good one. Ubisoft is trying to use the guise and say that Basim, the main character of this game, isn't as strong as the previous assassins, and therefore when he fights they're going to be tougher and harder to take down. Meanwhile, the dude pushes like 1,000 pounds worth of rocks like it's sitting on ice or some shit. The dude is moving these things around like somebody moving around office furniture when they put those little slidey things underneath them. You know, the thing that's supposed to make it easier to move it on carpet? And this is basically what I'm talking about. Basim doesn't even lift each corner of this thing first. He just moves it like it's nothing. But nah, man, he's weak. We're supposed to just believe he's weak as fuck. That's just a cop-out. That's just a way to make the NPCs have more health points so that way the combat feels extended and challenging, when really what it is just that they're gonna be bullet sponges in a not so literal sense, and we're supposed to sit there and say, wow, they're really challenging. It took me like 20 hits to defeat this guy. I mean, this game is really tough. Bullshit. Let's look at Ubisoft's track record. When has anybody been genuinely amazed with the titles Ubisoft has been producing? And I'm not even just talking about AC games at this point. I'm talking about Far Cry. I'm talking about Tom Clancy games. I'm talking about their main lineups. And I'm not talking about being satisfied. I'm talking about being truly amazed with the innovation Ubisoft delivered to change the gaming landscape. I'm talking Elden Ring levels of innovations. I'm talking about Baldur's Gate 3 levels. Oh no, but Snake, those are one-offs. You can't even compare. Oh, is that the talking point I'm supposed to go with? Is that what I gotta say? Because I didn't write that in the script. There were people who shared that same sentiment. And you want to know who it was? It was Western developers, including Ubisoft. When have people been genuinely satisfied with any of the Ubisoft games, and yet we're supposed to look at Assassin's Creed Mirage like it's supposed to be this new groundbreaking title, when really what they're doing is just selling you on the nostalgia of AC, hoping that you forget about the fact that the game is just not that good. It doesn't look like it's fun. They're still clinging on to RPG aspects, which is supposed to artificially prolong the playtime to make you feel like you're getting your money's worth. And I wouldn't be surprised if they try to sell you this game for $70 and then saying that this game is going to take over 60 hours to complete, when in reality, if you were able to have everything unlocked from the beginning, you would probably beat this game in about 10 or 15 hours. So again, I'm not convinced that this game is going to be anything other than just nostalgia bait, and then a week after it releases, people are going to bash it and say that it isn't as good as they thought it was, and at that point it'll be too late because they've already taken your money. And if you're looking at this title and you're genuinely excited and you genuinely want to play it, I mean, that's good for you. I'm not saying to not be excited, but what I'm saying is don't believe the hype. Look at the gameplay yourself and understand that it's still wonky as the other titles, and it's probably going to stay that way when it's released. It's still very much like Valhalla and Odyssey and the 27 other AC games that they've released in the past 6 months. Of course, I'm exaggerating, obviously. It's going to be moderately okay, but the difference between Mirage and those other titles is that Mirage is really trying to sell you on nostalgia, and to me, that's not okay. And another thing is, it's actually kind of funny that this game is called Mirage, because to me, that's exactly what it is. It's a mirage. It's not a real thing. It makes you believe that it's going to be this fantastic game, when in reality, when you finally get close to it, the illusion is going to shatter, and you're going to realize that it wasn't what you expected. I know they weren't going for that when they were naming this game, but other than aesthetic, this is the only other thing Ubisoft hit directly on the head. Also, is it just me? But what the actual fuck is going on with these names? I mean, we got this dude here named Kong, which is like, okay, J.K. Rowling, let's rethink this for a second. Meanwhile, this other character has a name that's more modern than the engine the game is running on.